Tonight on CTV News, surviving a terrifying hammer attack.
She had very vocally made it aware to multiple people that she was in fear of her life.
Her co-worker, Bailey McCourt, was killed. An exclusive interview with the woman who was injured that day. Her calls for changes to protect domestic violence victims.
How can I look my daughter in the eyes and tell her that we failed her? The system failed her.
A mother's anguish. Funding for Charlie's pricey medication is denied by the province again, despite the family's appeal.
It was definitely shattering and a shock.
Frustration with the city. The future of a family-owned restaurant that's been in Van Dusen Garden for decades is up in the air.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with more on the deadly attack of a young mother in Kelowna that has shocked and angered the province. Bailey McCourt's death, allegedly at the hands of her ex-husband, has become a rallying cry for justice reform. Her co-worker was seriously injured in last week's violence. And tonight, for the first time, she's sharing her story. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the exclusive interview.
Carrie Wiebe has extensive bruising and a concussion after allegedly being struck in the head with a hammer by James Plover, the man now charged with murdering his estranged wife, Bailey McCourt, in an attack on both women in a crowded Kelowna parking lot last Friday afternoon.
I definitely think this was an unnecessary death. It should never have happened. She was such a good mom and a good person. She made me laugh every single day. She made work so much fun. And I feel like the world's been ripped off.
Just minutes before he allegedly attacked Wiebe and McCourt, Plover had been convicted on 4 counts in a domestic violence case, but was not held in custody to await sentencing.
She 100% knew that this was a possibility. And I cannot talk about that because of the ongoing investigation, but yes, she had very vocally made it aware to multiple people that she was in fear of her life.
Absolutely appalling. The unfortunate part of this is another example of the systems failing a victim of domestic violence.
Wiebe hopes McCourt's murder will be a catalyst for change.
I think this is the slap in the face that we needed. So I think there's a lot more eyes watching, and I think that because there's so much noise now, they can't ignore it. They're going to have to do something, and I refuse. I will scream from the rooftops if I have to.
While Wiebe's physical wounds are healing, she's barely begun to process the mental trauma of the attack.
I laugh a lot, which confuses people, but it's just my way of coping. But otherwise, I go through waves, so I'll be laughing a lot and then crying, sobbing.
Sobbing for her friend and co-worker, a mother of 2 young girls whose life was cut short at 32 years old.
She was really, really great mother, and she loved those girls more than anything. It's just so heartbreaking. I just don't want her to be forgotten, like, ever. And so I know that we're working hard with Bailey's Law and to try to make the changes that we need to change, and I'm hoping that my voice will be hers because she's no longer able.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
Hope has turned to heartbreak again for a Vancouver Island family trying to get their daughter's expensive medication covered. Today, the health minister confirmed the funds have been rejected again, leaving Charlie's family devastated. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
Oh, God, I just feel like we're under this ticking time bomb.
All hope for Jory Fales has been crushed.
How can I look my daughter in the eyes and tell her that we failed her? The system failed her.
The EDRD expert committees have not revised their recommendation to discontinue coverage, given that there is no evidence, based on the CDA's clinical criteria, that it would provide further benefits for Charlie.
Meaning an appeal made by Charlie's family, as well as professionals in the Batten disease community 1 week ago to the Minister of Health, have fallen on deaf ears. And Charlie has now officially been defunded from her Bernera treatments by the province for good.
I'm just so sad that this is part of her story. It's not fair.
The group advocating for Charlie in Friday's meeting brought forward names of 2 professionals in the field. They say they were not consulted during Charlie's initial review.
The ministry can confirm that the CDA reviewed and evaluated 8 separate publications by these 2 experts.
I know that the 2 experts, the 2 international experts, didn't receive a phone call this week. They'd been waiting to hear from the ministry.
Andrew McFadden was in that meeting and says that published data the province used is now outdated. He says what the province should have done and was offered to them was to speak to those professionals to find out new, unpublished information on the benefits of Bernera. The province never acted on it.
As a community, this is something we can do for her.
Since Osborne's announcement this morning, another groundswell of support for Charlie. Today, local pizza on Douglas Street in Victoria is donating half of its profits to Charlie, which inspired some of its staff to donate their wages as well. Yesterday, this from the West Shore Economic Development Committee.
We raised just under $70,000.
To be put towards 2 infusion treatments for Charlie. Questions came up that if the drug was purchased privately, would the province allow her medical team to administer the drug? That was answered today by the health minister.
They do have that ability, and it is my understanding that Island Health is in dialogue with the family to enable this to happen, if that's what they decide to do.
I think this was about money, and I don't think they did their due diligence.
The family doesn't know what's next for Charlie, but Jory fears the worst.
I don't know how we move on from this. Sorry.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Langford.
There were tears in the gallery at BC Supreme Court today as the sentencing hearing took place for the man who murdered a Kitsilano Park caretaker. CTV's Ben Milger now on how Justice Daniel is being remembered and the possible sentence for the man who took his life.
Family and friends of Justice Daniels packed the courtroom, with some sharing victim impact statements, remembering him as a poet, an artist, a kind friend, and a loving father. Brent White, the man who killed Daniels, sat expressionless in the prisoner's dock. At trial in the spring, the judge convicted White of second-degree murder, which comes with a mandatory life sentence. In a joint submission, Crown and defense recommended parole eligibility be set at 12 years. In a victim impact statement, Daniel's son remembered his father as someone who was always there for others. His generosity and kind heart welcomed many in need into his home. I'm haunted by the fact that his kindness was betrayed in such a devastating way. In December 2021, Daniel invited White into his caretaker's cottage in Tatlow Park. That's where White attacked him with a knife, stabbing him more than 40 times. White testified he acted in self-defense after Daniel attacked him first. The judge didn't believe the 77-year-old victim, frail from prostate cancer, would have done that. White will have to wait to learn his fate. The judge has reserved her sentencing decision and will hand it down next week. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A Delta man has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for a deadly stabbing in Whistler. Didar Jehudi, now 25, must also submit a DNA sample and has been slapped with a lifetime firearms ban. Homicide investigators say 26-year-old Henry Stanley Garcia Molina was stabbed to death while waiting for a taxi in the early hours of August 14th, 2021. Nearly a year passed before Jehudi was arrested and charged with manslaughter, which he later pleaded guilty to. One person is dead after an overnight crash in Maple Ridge, and a warning: some may find the following images upsetting. Emergency crews were called to the intersection of 240th Street and Lougheed Highway around 3 a.m. There you can see the vehicle was left almost unrecognizable in a twisted and crumpled heap of metal. Road closures in the area slowed traffic for several hours. An investigation is underway, and Ridge Meadows RCMP are asking anyone with video from the area to contact them. Ottawa says it's committed to keep working towards a deal, even as Donald Trump has upped the ante with a new tariff threat targeting Canada. But with the clock ticking on trade talks, is an agreement even possible? CTV's Craig Krause has more.
Another blow to Canada-U.S. relations. President Donald Trump sending a letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney, warning that next month the Americans will charge Canada 35% on Canadian products coming into the country. If Canada retaliates with tariffs, Trump wrote that number will be added on to the 35%.
It was sent yesterday. They called. I think it was fairly well received, but it's what we need. So we'll see what happens.
Prime Minister Mark Carney responding overnight, writing, "The Canadian government has steadfastly defended our workers and businesses. We will continue to work towards the revised deadline of August 1st. While not the elbows-up approach some critics would like to see, Ottawa argues it is."
Canada is the only country on earth, along with China, that has imposed so many counter tariffs. So we have had already a very strong response.
BC Premier David Eby also reacted, writing on social media, quote, "The letter is flailing and factually incorrect. Other F words come to mind." Speaking to reporters in Prince George Friday, his message was simple.
We'll be coordinating our response to any tariffs that are imposed by the United States with the federal government.
For Trump, he said tariffs are partly due to Canada's failure to stop fentanyl from getting into the country, while Carney says they have made vital progress.
So we're here at the Canada-U.S. border, and it was just over a week ago that the Manhattan Institute found that large Canadian border seizures are relatively rare, with only 1% of fentanyl tablets, capsules, and pills being seized from coming from up north.
You're going to see this 35% tariff start to melt away because the USMC is already exempt.
SFU economist Lindsay Meredith believes this is another negotiation tactic as the two sides work towards a trade deal.
Canadians aren't going to fall for this too many times. You keep calling tariffs. You've called wolf way too many times. Guess what? It doesn't work anymore.
Now all eyes are on Ottawa and Washington as the August 1st deadline looms. Craig Krause, CTV News, Vancouver.
Despite global trade concerns, BC's labor market remains resilient heading into summer, according to new Stats Can data. The latest labor force survey shows BC added 5,000 jobs in June, with growth in 6 of 7 regions. That led the unemployment rate to drop by 0.8%, down to 5.6. So far this year, BC has gained 50,700 full-time positions, which is more than any other province. BC is also top in Canada for women's employment, with 28,700 jobs added this year. For the first time in BC, workers at an Amazon warehouse have officially unionized. The BC Labour Relations Board has certified Unifor as the bargaining agent for more than 700 employees at Amazon's Delta facility. It comes after what the LRB ruling describes as egregious interference by Amazon during the union drive. The workers can now begin negotiating their first collective bargaining agreement. Delta's Amazon site is the second in Canada to unionize. A hot weekend is in the forecast after a cool start to the week, and that could mean an uptick in wildfire behavior. Temperatures are expected to return back to seasonal across much of the province. BC Wildfire is reminding people to be extra cautious when lighting campfires as the conditions get drier. The Coastal Fire Centre is also warning about windy conditions starting Monday. That could cause fires to spread rapidly. There are currently 69 active wildfires burning in the province. The province is stepping up efforts to help declining caribou populations recover. Today, the government in Fort Nelson First Nation announced new rules that set aside nearly 1.4 million hectares of land in northeastern BC as protected caribou habitat. No new oil and gas drilling will be allowed in the areas, though existing work can continue if it's tied to safety or cleanup. Police are investigating the theft of a large wooden structure with great cultural significance. A hand-carved wooden mountain goat statue belonging to the Upper Similkameen Indian Band was stolen from a community hall in Headley early Tuesday morning. Video footage shows 2 suspects arriving to the hall around 2 a.m. with an old pickup truck towing a cargo trailer. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Princeton RCMP. Police in Nanaimo are looking for a suspect after a brazen bike robbery in broad daylight. It happened last week near a McDonald's in the 1800 block of Bowen Street. You can see a man throw a cup of water at two teenagers before grabbing one of their bikes and taking off with it. They tried to chase down the thief before stopping to call police. The bike was recovered 2 days later. The future of a beloved family-owned business is in limbo. The restaurant at Van Dusen Botanical Gardens says it's been fighting for years to keep its lease. But as CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, the city is looking to make a change.
For 25 years, the Chadden family has ran Shaughnessy Restaurant in Van Dusen Gardens.
We really encompass all of life's milestones at our restaurant, and that's something we're very passionate about here.
And in that time, the business has successfully expanded to weddings and events.
It didn't happen overnight, given that we've been here and hope to be here for longer than just the 25 years.
But that may not happen. The lease is up in January, and trying to renew it with the park board hasn't been easy, according to Carly Chadden.
The RFP process has been very frustrating.
In 2022, the park board adopted a new process. When long-term contracts expire, if there are other qualified proponents, it goes to a request for proposal.
From the get-go, there's been a lack of transparency.
At Wednesday's council meeting, the lease was to be discussed, but it was dropped from the agenda, though not before Chadden learned the outcome, that Truffles Fine Foods had been awarded the contract.
It was definitely shattering and a shock. The fact that, 25 years of our history, we couldn't even find out in like a dignified manner to even alert our staff about what was happening was really difficult.
The board and city say staff have completed the evaluation and a new recommendation has been made, but won't confirm whether Shaughnessy has lost its bid.
At this point in time, they do not become the official operators until decisions are made by both the park board and council.
A petition was launched in support of Shaughnessy Restaurant. Despite that, Chadden has had to consider what may happen if the family's lease isn't renewed.
That's a really difficult thing to think about, that we can no longer provide that place for all of our customers and community.
Isabella Zaffarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Everyone loves a good summer barbecue, but a new study might make you think twice before grilling up that hot dog. It suggests that regularly eating processed meats could make you sick.
Our study did find that there really is no safe level, so as little as one serving per day of these kinds of foods are associated with these increased risks. So our sort of advice to people really is to consume as little as possible.
Brower says habitually eating processed meat could raise your risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 11% and the chances of developing colorectal cancer by 7%. He recommends sticking to non-processed meats like chicken, fish, or steak, or opting for some veggies instead. Thanks to 2 touchdowns at a CFL game, a new Westminster man is $1 million richer. How he won the money? Coming up. And
to not be able to access it spontaneously, I think it's a travesty.
It's one of the most popular pools in Vancouver, but swimmers are making waves about a booking system that sometimes leaves the pool half empty. When CTV News continues, stay with us. If you want to go for a swim at the outdoor pool at Kids Beach, it's not as simple as grabbing your suit and diving in. You actually need to make a booking online. It's a system left over from the COVID era, and some say it's taking the fun out of summer. Here's CTV's Martin McMahon.
On a hot day, it's hard to beat Kids Pool as a way to cool down, but how you get into the water is becoming a major talking point, with some calling for an end to the online booking system.
To not be able to access it spontaneously, I think It's a travesty for families, and there are people that are going to miss out on the experiences that I was lucky enough to have.
Another criticism has been the changeover period, in which the pool sits empty for half an hour multiple times a day.
That's 2 full hours a day that people could be using this community amenity.
But the park board insists many swimmers appreciate certainty.
People standing in line in the heat for a long amount of time, that results in people becoming ill. You have people with heat stress from standing in the heat. People are paying for parking to go to a pool that they might not be able to even get into.
Christensen is also defending the changeover period.
If you think about, when you finish swimming, you need to go and shower, you need to get dressed. If you've got kids with you, that can take, a little bit of time to get everybody ready and dressed. So we have that half-hour time period to let everybody get out of the pool.
We asked swimmers what they thought of the reservation system.
It's been really difficult to organize your life around the time slots that they have, and I just think it's unfortunate when you go by on a beautiful summer day to see an empty pool.
This is my first time here, and she said that there's already 300 reservations and that you need to line up at least 30 minutes before to get in. And I think I like the spontaneity of the drop-in system.
Using the online booking tool allowed us to plan ahead, get our tickets, and here we are on time, and we don't have that added stress.
If I had to get here super early and wait in a really long line, and then I wasn't even sure if I was going to get in or not, I would be a lot less likely to come and swim.
Ultimately, the debate will continue, and the park board says it is listening, pointing to moves to lengthen early morning swims and public swims after hearing feedback from the public. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A new outdoor pool is officially open in Coquitlam. Mundy Park Pool technically reopened to the public June 1st following a major $32 million rebuild. But the city held an event today celebrating the upgraded, expanded facility. It replaces the 52-year-old span outdoor pool and is expected to welcome more than 16,000 drop-in visitors this season. Special Olympics BC is hosting its first summer games in 8 years. The opening ceremonies were held in Prince George last night as the city welcomed nearly 900 athletes from all over BC and the Yukon. They're competing in 10 sports, with bocce being the most popular for teams and swimming drawing the most individual athletes.
Cool. Can we add bocce to regular Olympics? I would watch that.
Brilliant. I've always wanted to try bocce.
Oh, it is so fun. Yes, you have to. I can't believe you've never played bocce.
No, I want to, and it's great that they include that in the Olympics. It should be an official Olympic sport,
right? I agree with you. Let's write in. All right. Great day to play bocce if you're outside, but make sure you're in the shade because, pretty warm out there with sunny skies. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland right now. Sitting at 24 at the Harbor, 26s in North Vancouver and Burnaby, as well as Pitt Meadows. You're looking at 27 degrees in Surrey and Chilliwack, 25s in White Rock and in Abbotsford. So as we head through the overnight, a few clouds will roll in. A mild 16 degrees into tomorrow will start off cloudy. It does clear up and heat up. We'll see temperatures between 24 near the water and 28 degrees inland.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And the summer sun continues with the hot conditions. Those details coming up with the full forecast.
Yeah, it is very muggy out there, too, isn't
muggy,
it?
It is.
All right, but not complaining.
No.
Okay, thanks, Anne. More clues into what may have caused the Air India crash last month that killed more than 200 people. Also ahead.
We just were making a little tour of the area. It's hard to believe the devastation.
Donald Trump visits the Texas disaster zone where dozens were swept away by flooding. Questions raging about why people at risk were not alerted. That's ahead. A preliminary investigation into last month's deadly Air India crash says the fuel switches that helped power the plane's two engines were shifted from run to cut off shortly after takeoff. Despite the finding, India's Civil Aviation Ministry says it is offering no recommendations to Boeing or the plane's engine maker. 241 people on board were killed when the Boeing Dreamliner crashed moments after takeoff from Ahmedabad, India on June 12th. Another 19 people on the ground died when the plane slammed into a residential area. It's the deadliest aviation accident in a decade. U.S. President Donald Trump visited Central Texas today, getting a first-hand look at the disaster zone a week after devastating floods hit the area. The president was joined by First Lady Melania Trump as he surveyed the damage and met with officials and first responders involved in recovery operations. Among the 120 confirmed dead are dozens of children and counselors at Camp Mystic, a private Christian summer camp for girls. The search continues for at least 170 people still considered missing. Trump spoke afterwards about what he heard and saw.
We just were making a little tour of the area. It's hard to believe the devastation. Trees that are 100 years old just ripped out of the ground. I've never seen anything like it.
The governor of Texas expressed praise for the federal response to the floods as the Trump administration faces questions over how early warning systems may have fallen short. Wildfires blanketing most of Manitoba is putting air quality at very high risk due to the smoke. Environment and Climate Change Canada says the Air Quality Health Index is at its peak, 10+. This comes as residents in areas under threat prepare for potential evacuation orders and monitor approaching fires. Those orders are already in place in the communities of Snow Lake and Garden Hill as a nearby fire covering 3,000 hectares burns out of control. Two girls aged 13 and 14 are charged in a swarming attack on a Muslim woman in Ontario.
I almost got taken, but I didn't click on the link. I don't know what would have happened if I clicked on the link.
How scammers are using AI to make their phishing or smishing attempts look more real. That's ahead. There's a new warning about scam text messages, so-called smishing attacks, which may be popping up on more phones. And it's getting harder to spot the scammers who are turning to artificial intelligence to make their bogus messages seem more legit. CTV's John Venevali-Rao reports.
The latest warning comes from the Competition Bureau, which says more people have been seeing those annoying scam texts pop up, claiming to be from agencies like Revenue Canada, or that you owe money for a toll highway, often including a link that scammers are trying to get you to click on. Janine Compton recently got one claiming she was caught speeding and had to pay a fine, and initially thought it might be real.
I almost got taken, but I didn't click on the link. I don't know what would have happened if I clicked on the link. I did not click. I just blocked the number.
Compton was the target of a scam known as SMS phishing or smishing. The texts often claimed to be from an actual organization or business. And while they used to contain things like spelling errors, making them easier to spot, AI services like ChatGPT are making them harder to detect.
Spelling mistakes used to be a tell, particularly when people had to write these messages themselves, and often it was people who didn't necessarily speak English as their first language.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre warns AI can also allow messages to be sent out at a faster rate, and warns scammers are using AI to scrape information about you from the internet.
Some of the messages may include some of your personal information as an extra way to try to convince you that it's a legitimate message, right?
The advice: never click on suspicious links, ignore texts even if asked to reply with stop or no, and forward spam text to 7726 or spam. And of course, delete them to avoid accidental interaction. But as AI technology continues to improve, more people may fall victim, which is why the Anti-Fraud Centre and others want everyone to remain vigilant. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
The elbows up and buy Canadian movements brought on by U.S. trade tensions may not be losing momentum anytime soon.
I would expect that every time Donald Trump slaps a new tariff or has some type of broadside into the trade relationship or the Canadian economy, you should expect Canadians to basically vote with their wallet and their pocketbook.
A Nanos research poll shows nearly half of Canadians think the boycotts will only end after the Trump presidency, while 16% believe they will be permanent. 66% of survey respondents say they are less likely to buy a car from an automaker that shut down Canadian production amid the uncertainty brought on by the trade war. That includes Stellantis and GM. Two teenage girls in Oshawa, Ontario have been charged in connection with a swarming attack on a Muslim woman at a pizza shop. A security camera captured the attack on July 2nd. The girls, aged 13 and 14, are facing assault charges. Police say an 11-year-old boy has been identified as a suspect, and a 14-year-old boy is also being sought on a warrant. Another unidentified girl between 12 and 15 years old is also wanted. None of the youths can be identified under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. We'll have a roundup of fun things to do this sunny weekend. That's coming up in the Friday Feel Goods. And
I got a call the night of the game. I wasn't watching the game, and I was like, yeah, right. Because I didn't believe it.
Didn't believe that he had won $1 million because of a football game. He didn't even have to buy a lotto ticket to win. We'll explain.
Thanks, Paul.
Believe it or not, this is actually our first rodeo.
As the saying goes, life is about finding someone to dance in the rain with. One couple at the Calgary Stampede proved just that in a now viral video. We'll have that story right after Anne's forecast. But first, a new Westminster man is now $1 million richer after a lucky play during a CFL game. But it took him a while to believe the news.
I got a call the night of the game. I wasn't watching the game, and I was like, yeah, right. Because I didn't believe it. I was in shock all week.
Lister is the first winner of the Save On Foods $1 million touchdown to win promotion. He won the grand prize during the Toronto-Hamilton game last weekend when Janarian Grant of the Argonauts and Isaiah Wooden Sr. of the Tiger Cats each returned a kickoff for a touchdown. The prize will be handed out in annual installments of $50,000 over 20 years. Lister says he wants to help out his family, do some renos, and maybe get a new set of golf clubs.
Wow.
Isn't that great? He can get a pretty nice set of golf clubs.
I would think so. Congratulations to him.
And he didn't even have to enter. Like, I go to Save On Foods. You're automatically entered.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't win.
No, neither did I. I'm there every week. Something's got to give here.
Yeah, but good for him.
Yes. Congratulations. Lucky family. That's amazing. All right, let's take a look at our forecast as we head into the weekend. But first, let's take a look outside. This is our shot from our camera on top of Grouse Mountain. Mostly sunny skies out there as we take a look south towards downtown Vancouver. Ridge of high pressure will dominate the south coast and southern interior as we head into the weekend. Another system pushing its way in for the north and central coast and Haida Gwaii, bringing in heavy rain and strong winds through tomorrow afternoon. So this is our storm tracker, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, a rain as we head into the next few into Sunday for the north coast, central coast, as well as Haida Gwaii, spreading into the interior as we head into Monday, and then it does dry up as we head into next Wednesday. So for our weather tracker, once again, we doubled up on the weather tracker. How lucky are we for this one? All right, clearing up quite nicely as we head into the weekend. You'll see mostly sunny skies for the southern interior. Warm temperatures as well with that ridge in the jet stream will bring in some hot weather from south of the border, and it will really sizzle as we head into early next week. So as we head into tomorrow for the North Island, you're looking at sunny breaks for Port Hardy, 17 degrees, blue skies and sunshine, 27s for Campbell River and Comox for the South Island. Tofino, you'll see 19 degrees with some cloudy skies. Other than that, mostly sunny skies from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 24 and 30 degrees. Sunny skies for the Sunshine Coast and 25. Warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway, 27s for both Whistler and Squamish, and for us across the Lower Mainland. We will start off cloudy, but it does clear up nicely with temperatures between 24 degrees near the water, 28 degrees inland. Heading into Sunday, inland temperatures will reach 29. A touch cooler on Monday, temperatures between 23 and 26. And then we start to see the sizzle. On Tuesday, inland temperatures will reach 31 degrees, 32 inland for Wednesday, 31 on Thursday. And then heading into Friday, mostly sunny skies. And we'll see cooler temperatures with temperatures between 23 degrees near the water and 26 degrees inland. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. conditions. And yes, lots of people taking holidays in these perfect conditions for us, for holiday goers. But yeah, we still need some rain.
Yeah, and if you have vacation time next week, the beaches will be packed, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, sizzling 30 plus. Wow. Okay, thanks, Ann. A spontaneous moment caught on camera at the Calgary Stampede is capturing hearts online. Now a new couple is navigating uncharted terrain after going viral for dancing in the rain. CTV's Mark Villani explains.
Caught in a Stampede downpour, Benjamin McMurray and Sarah McDougall couldn't help but dance. Outside Nashville North last Sunday, the music kept going, and so did they. Their two-step through the puddles, filmed by a stranger, both of them completely unaware.
Nothing clears out a dance floor like a good rainstorm, so it actually worked out perfectly. We had lots of room to dance and just kind of practice our moves.
It was spontaneous. We were already out there, it was coming down, and I think I said we should dance in that puddle, and so we just started doing it.
I like how your hair dips into the water too. That was funny.
The video has now been viewed more than 800,000 times, some calling it the perfect Stampede love story.
That's wild because I didn't expect that at all. I had no idea that was going to happen, but I keep seeing the views go up and up and up. It's crazy.
Believe it or not, this is actually our first rodeo.
The pair has only been together just a couple months after meeting through friends on a trip to Ghost Lake. Some of their first memories together, riding Ben's motorbike.
She was crazy enough to jump on the back of the Harley and come out with me. So after I threw her in the lake and she wasn't sick of me then, so we just kind of kept seeing each other.
Their story and their spirit now striking a chord with people far beyond the fairgrounds.
And I love that everybody dresses country and gets out and everyone's in a good mood and people are dancing and it's a really good time. I always enjoy it.
And for this couple, it's not just about music or moments, it's about who you share them with.
Life is not always purely sunshine, so if you can find those people that are willing to dance through the rain with you, keep those people around.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Symphony in the Park, Greek Summer Fest, and the Chinatown Festival still ahead tonight. The Friday Feel Goods. A look ahead to some fun events happening in Metro Vancouver. Plus, birthday blades. Adam finds out why a BC senior celebrated her 80th birthday with a rollerblading road trip. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live.
It's a growing scam that costs local residents millions of dollars every year. Monday on CTV Morning Live, investment scams are on the rise. We'll learn more from the Richmond RCMP about how to spot them and who is most likely to fall victim. And it's Carney versus Trump. We'll take a closer look at the intensifying trade war between Canada and the U.S. We'll see you in the morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
Oasis fans were out early in the United Kingdom today for the long-awaited return of the Gallagher brothers to their hometown.
Still got 5 hours till the band comes on, but it's all worth it. It's part of the day. First homecoming show in 16 years, so I'm all for it.
That's right. 16 years since Oasis played in Manchester, and fans are flying out from around the world to see the band play 5 shows in the city. The band will tour the UK for much of the summer before making its only Canadian stop in Toronto for 2 shows at the end of August. Justin Bieber surprised fans today with his first new album in more than 4 years. The Canadian pop star dropped his much-anticipated 7th album, Swag, at midnight. Bieber says it's his most personal record yet and delves into his life after welcoming his first son. Song titles include Dad's Love and Therapy Season. was kind of funny how he was holding the baby. Didn't you think?
He's still learning.
It's like they're always trying to hold their arms. Yeah, it was a bit of an edgy photo for a dad, don't you think? Okay, well, it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. Here are 3 things worth checking out. It's been a summer favorite for more than 30 years. Symphony in the Park is returning to Deer Lake Saturday night for another free outdoor concert. This year's program includes music from Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and E.T. Come early to check out the VSO School of Music's family-friendly play zone. Have you guys gone? That's really fun.
No, and Greek Summerfest is back for a second weekend outside the Greek Orthodox Church on Boundary Road. Get a taste of the Mediterranean with souvlaki, spanakopita, and roast lamb served all weekend long. The free community event will also feature music, dancing, and other cultural performances. Delicious. Give me all those things.
I know, that's making me hungry.
Daphos loves that festival.
Oh, there was also a Greek festival last weekend. The Greeks like to have food, right?
Yeah, and also this weekend, the 23rd Annual Vancouver Chinatown Festival is taking place this weekend, Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6 p.m. Kiefer and Columbia Streets will be bustling with a variety of cultural activities, entertainment, and cuisine. Highlights include the main stage performances, children's theater area, and a giant Mahjong board?
Mahjong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Fun game.
Yeah, I like the sound it makes, the tiles. Okay, well, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. Well, a library in Ontario is putting a spin on a hit song to encourage more kids to read over the summer.
I heard that there's a special place with books and fun that's bound to put a smile on your face.
The Waterloo Public Library has turned Chapel Rowan's Pink Pony Club into its new anthem, Summer Reading Club. Subbing in for Chapel Rowan is one of their talented library programmers. The purpose of the parody is to help mitigate what's known as the summer slide.
Evidence is showing that over those 2 months when kids are off from school, that there can be some regression in their learning.
Yeah, we've got it all.
The more kids read through the club, the better chance they have to win bi-weekly prizes and a grand prize at the end of the summer.
She's a great singer.
I know, she's really good. And she's a librarian, multi-talented.
Amazing.
But pretty clever scheme to do it that way. Okay, Mary, what's coming up tonight?
Mi Jung, you and Anne were talking about the heat earlier, and it's going to be hot this weekend. Today, fire crews in North Van had to carry a very tired dog off a local trail today. The owner also needed some assistance, and it's a good reminder that summer temperatures can sneak up on you and your pets. So plan ahead and drink plenty of water.
Oh, that's why you don't want to take your dog up the grouse grind, right, Anne?
I don't want to go up the grouse grind.
Too hot.
Okay. Well, finally, most people celebrate their birthday with a party and cake, but Sonia Bardati is not like most people. As Adam explains, for her 80th trip around the sun, she hit the road for a massive rollerblading journey. On tonight's Encore, Sawatsky sign off.
While contemplating what to do for her upcoming birthday, Sonia knew what she didn't want to be.
I am not going to be a rocking chair granny.
So she started considering her life thus far.
That's me right there.
But instead of dwelling on the tears shed at the orphanage,
So I want to dwell on good things.
Sonia recalled the smiles made there while roller skating.
In those days, we only had little wheels with a little key.
Very different than the rollerblades she donned for her 80th birthday.
That feels fabulous. You feel like you're in the clouds.
But this was just the beginning.
When I decide to do something, I do it.
Sonia decided to celebrate by rollerblading more than 350 kilometers over 7 days.
My motto is, I can do anything I want as long as I don't hurt anybody.
But what about hurting herself? What about the osteoporosis that caused Sonia to break 10 bones?
I was scared because I'm made of glass.
But Sonia faced her fear and started training 5 days a week because this journey was bigger than her.
I still have sorrows.
After her husband of more than 50 years, Roberto, died, Sonia says her adopted cat Holly was a crucial comfort.
She kept me from falling apart.
So Sonia turned her journey into a fundraiser for the SPCA, rollerblading in a different costume every day.
I'm a nutcase. I love doing things to make people happy.
And after completing her birthday goal,
I did it.
Sonia says the best way to celebrate every day is bettering yourself so you can better others.
Woohoo!
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Parksville.
She looks like a lot of fun.
Wow.
I know. I can't believe she's 80.
Yeah.
Looks incredible.
All that energy and great cause there. So she did something
Yes, I know you've done a lot of fundraising for SPCA. I haven't seen you rollerblade, though, from Port Hardy.
And I'm not going to. I'll dress up. I won't be rollerblading 150 kilometers, though. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Beautiful Baker is seen from Abbotsford. Thanks, Kevin, for sending this photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
That's an incredible shot. Yeah, it's hard to believe that Baker's in the States. It looks so close sometimes.
It always looks closer than it is.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us. Mary's back at 11:30.
Good night.